Hello everyone, welcome to round 2 of watching me learn how to ferment vegetables. So today I am going to ferment cherry tomatoes, and if you stick around to the end, I will give you an update on the salt and pepper and silver slicer cucumbers that I pickled last week. And like I said in my last video, I am just learning how to ferment foods. I am by no means any sort of expert, and I'm really publishing these videos so that you can watch my journey and learn alongside me, or help me to learn how to do all this fermenting and preserving vegetables by leaving comments in the comment section of the videos. Okay, so let's get started. I've seen a couple different methods on the internet about fermenting cherry tomatoes. So one includes poking holes in the cherry tomatoes, and then the other does not poke holes into the cherry tomatoes. Because my cherry tomatoes are not exactly right off the vine, I'm gonna go ahead and skip poking a hole through them this time. I am gonna try them next time when I'm using my own tomatoes that I grew myself. So the ingredients I am going to use for my fermented cherry tomatoes are obviously the tomatoes. And then I went out and cut some basil from my garden. I have some garlic here, and then we'll also use the saltwater brine, of course. And that's pretty much it. Next time, if I like how these turn out, or if I need to do a round 2, I definitely want to try using some other herbs like oregano and celery, and what else? Yeah, I want to start trying some different little things, but I thought I'd keep it kind of classic here with just the basil and the garlic. I have 1 pint of water that's been sitting out so that any chemicals have evaporated off. I don't have city water, I have well water, but I still I'm not 100% on the procedure for managing water in ferments from a well, so I'm just going to follow what someone would do if they had city water. So I am going to do 1 tablespoon of salt for 1 pint of water. Today I am using the baleen sea salt. Okay, so 1 tablespoon, and then I'm just going to give this a real good stir and wait till it's all dissolved. That's almost done, so I'm going to let that sit for a minute. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and take 5 cloves of garlic. I think this is probably a little more than most people recommend, but I really like garlic. So I just cracked these off of a whole garlic clove, a whole garlic bulb. And so now I'm just gonna smash them a little bit. And I smashed that one a lot. Okay, I'm gonna smash them a little bit. And they can go in with the skins and all. Okay, so there's my smashed garlic. Let me check. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put 2 cloves of garlic at the bottom. I'm gonna put a few basil leaves in there. And then I'm gonna pack with tomatoes. Okay, and then I'm gonna put a little more garlic. Pack them in there. A little more garlic, some more basil, more onions, tomatoes, onions. Okay, some more garlic, the rest of the basil. Okay, so I have the food up to about here, and then I am going to pour the water. You want all the food to remain underneath the water. See. And then I am going to put my fermenting weight in. And then it's kind of all spilling everywhere. Then this is a pickle pipe, And what the pickle pipe does is there's a tiny little hole in the top, and it lets the CO2 escape as the ferment happens. And then I'm just putting my mason ring onto the mason jar. Okay everyone, so here are my fizzy, because that's what they call them sometimes, fizzy cherry tomatoes that I'm fermenting. I am going to set these aside right over here for 3 to 4 days. I'm probably going to start trying them in 3 days, and then I will let you know how they turn out. Okay, and then for my first ferment, I'm going to let you know that I think that my first ferment was a complete failure. Okay, so this is one of the jars that I fermented, and these are actually the silver slicers because they're the ones that tasted the best out of the whole batch. And a couple things. Number one, I think I need to use a much larger jar for cucumbers, for pickling cucumbers. And I'm sure if you know anything about pickling, you probably thought the same when you watched me do that. Okay, so that's number one. And I'd really like to do whole cucumbers or half cucumbers. I don't want to have to chop them up. And the next, I use the silver slicer and the salt and pepper, and they're like white pickles. And as far as aesthetics go, I'm not sure if this appeals to me. The way that this looks appeals to me. And maybe it's just because the only pickles I've really ever had are the green pickles, but this just looks a little weird with the white skin. Okay, and then also I think because I cut them up smaller, they're not as crisp, and so the insides have just like a weird look to them. So, I mean, they taste okay. They taste okay and everything, but they're not what I expected, so I'm going to try to improve upon my very first ferment, and which is going to include probably different pickles. Well, most definitely different pickles, number one, a bigger jar, and number two, and let's see, the taste sounds fine, so I think I'm still gonna stick with the garlic and the dill. And let's see, anything else I want to change? I'll probably start trying them at 3 or 4 days versus a week. I waited a week. I went out of town and I forgot that I was supposed to try them before. So anyway, I mean, they're okay. They're definitely okay. If I do the salt and pepper again, I'm gonna grab them as soon as they're coming off the vine. Sorry, I'm talking with my mouth full. So if I do salt and peppers again, I'm going to grab them smaller. I'm going to take them straight off the vine, and then I'm going to throw them into a ferment. I'm not going to let them sit around or anything like that. So it was a good learning experience as far as having this as food that my family or I will eat. Not so much of a success, but that's okay. We're trying our second one with the tomatoes, and then I will come back to you when I get ready to do pickled cucumbers once again. Okay everyone, thank you for joining me today. Again, if you are experienced with fermenting, please leave me any suggestions, techniques, or things like that that are successful for you in the comments below. I am just learning how to ferment and preserve foods using these older type methods, and really excited about it and happy to have you with me on this journey. Thank you again, and I will see you again next time.